Yeah, I think it was a very close fought fixture. Obviously, we weren't quite good enough to get the win, and I think if we just improve all areas just by 10%, then we'll come out on top.
In terms of what specific things you could sort of pick up from how Pakistan went about kind of going through that game, what are some of the key things that the team's already sort of chatted about in terms of picking up the game too, potentially?
Yeah, I think particularly the partnerships with the bat. I think the way that Pakistan batted there and were able to build those partnerships and extend them for a long period of time was probably the difference in the game in the end. If we're able to create those partnerships first of all, and then extend them and make them lengthy contributions, I think that will put us in good stead going forward.
When you obviously headed out to bat that game, because we'd had a series of losing wickets when partnerships were being established, what was the kind of discussions at that stage in terms of trying to get through to a total or trying to work out how you could kind of get a total on that surface?
Yeah, there's always a lot of time in a one-day game to get yourself in, and Glenn and I just spoke about trying to take the game as deep as possible, and then if we're there with the chance to have a bit of a dip at the end, then that was the ideal result. So I think we sort of did the job to a certain extent, but yeah, again, if we were able to take the game a little bit deeper, then we would have been able to really push and get an above par total.
In terms of your own innings, you were obviously top scored in the New Zealand effort. What kind of benefit did you have when you headed out there and having been involved in the Test series and having had some experience on these surfaces already?
Yeah, I think part of the Test series, I had a little bit of a tough time at the start and was able to find my feet towards the end of that Test series. And I think, yeah, the benefit of being out there in the conditions and understanding how the pitch plays is hugely important. And I think as a side, we've got some new guys coming in, so I'm sure everyone will be more beneficial for that first hit out in the first ODI.
In terms of the adaptations you've had to kind of make in your own game, particularly with the bat, firstly, in terms of your experience in Asia, what kind of changes have you had to kind of make personally in trying to adapt to playing here?
Yeah, I think it's about respecting the ball and staying nice and patient. I think in New Zealand the ball doesn't turn too much, so you can probably take it on a little bit earlier. Whereas over here, you've really got to get the pace of the wicket and understand what the surface is doing, particularly against the spinners. Yeah, and then understanding that there's quite fast outfields here, so you can make that up pretty quickly.
Now turning to kind of the effort with the ball, obviously, something where it was challenging to take wickets, and it was something where we had to kind of go to different plans, etc. When you were maybe not how we might go about a one-day game in New Zealand, but in terms of how the side went with the ball, what were your impressions there?
Yeah, I think we started pretty well with the ball and were able to take a wicket in the power play. Obviously, we would like a couple more in the power play, but yeah, and then the way that guys kept coming back in and adapting, I think we're certainly going to be better for it. I think a couple of the guys hadn't played a lot of cricket coming into that game, particularly over here. So yeah, it's nice for them to get a bit of a hit out and understand what the wicket's doing, and I'm sure we'll talk about how we can improve our plans moving forward for the rest of the series.
And in terms of some of those adjustments we talked about with that, moving from red to white ball for your own, for you personally, in terms of your bowling, what tweaks did you have to make there?
Yeah, it's just about trying to find the length that's tough to score on these wickets. If you get a little bit short, the ball seems to sit up in the wicket and makes it pretty easy to hit. So you've really got to find that length that's sort of challenging the top of off stump as much as you can. And yeah, I think it's something that will be better for, and just trying to adapt as quickly as we can, because you sort of never know what the surface will be like tomorrow.
And obviously, being an all-rounder is still something that is actually in the scale of your career, something relatively new for you. How are you finding in terms of your preparation and getting ready and planning and things like that, continuing to make those adjustments now that you are sort of offering with bat and ball?
Yeah, it's something that's a little bit different, but I'm enjoying that challenge of both bat and ball, and I guess it's about just trying to be as clinical as you can in your preparation. You're probably a little bit more tired than you would be if you're just a batter, so yeah, making sure that you conserve your energy where you can and put your focus in the right areas.
And just one last one in terms of working with the spin bowling group. Obviously, you had, Ish is in both sides, and you had AJ with the Test side, and then now working in this group with Mitchell Santner, Ish again, and Glenn Phillips. How important is it kind of bounce off those other guys in terms of what you're doing when you're approaching these games with the whiteboard?
Yeah, we've got a really good relationship, us as a spin group, and we're constantly talking about how we can get better and what deliveries are useful on a certain surface. And I think Mitch showed his class coming in yesterday and bowling with the most economical figures of the day. So yeah, he's a guy that has plenty of experience all around the world, and certainly someone that I turn to for guidance and help throughout the whole game.